Hey, what's going on everyone? Jigsaw Killer here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a video or slash discussion video talking about Resident Evil 7 and the remake of Resident Evil 2. So regarding Resident Evil 7, so if you're not up to date with all this, you're not familiar, you don't check online with rumors and that kind of thing. So a couple of weeks ago on Twitter, someone has stated that Resident Evil 7 is in development. Capcom were working on it. I don't know for a while or what's going on. I don't think he said anything if it's in development for how much or how long. But he definitely said that that Capcom have been working on Resident Evil 7, and they plan to announce it at E3, and it's also going back to the roots of the old Resident Evil games. It's going to be more survival horror and so on. No, I don't know who the guy is who posted it on Twitter. I've never seen him before or anything. I don't know if we can trust it, but E3 is only a few days away, so I won't change anything. So I'm gonna believe it. I'm actually on the hype about it. I actually expect RE7 to be announced, and if it doesn't, I'll be actually disappointed. But it is what it is. I'm actually pretty confident that it would be announced. Now the first thing I guess I'll talk about is my thoughts on it and what's going on. I actually think it's really good, but at the same time, it could be, I think it's kind of weird, with the way the series has been going since, from Resident Evil 4. Like, it's more of an action oriented kind of series now instead of survival horror. I don't think you should just go, oh hey, we'll make like 3 action games and we'll go back to survival horror. I think that's kind of a bit strange, but it is what it is. Now Resident Evil 7, see, I think they should have, personally I think they should have done it the other way around. Like, Capcom has stated in an interview that they want to keep the main series more action oriented and the spin-off games more about survival horror and that kind of thing. So I think they should have done the other way around. So I think that would have made everyone happy. Then the main series would stick to survival horror, and then the spin-offs would be more like action oriented. I think that would have made everyone happy then. I don't see how they don't see that, but they tried to please the Call of Duty kind of fan base, the shooter kind of thing, but that didn't make us Resident Evil fans happy about that. So yeah, there's a lot to say about that kind of thing. Now, like, if you talk about Resident Evil 6 and all that, like, what I would like to see for Resident Evil 7 in terms of like gameplay and all that, I would like to see like stuff that's just not what, just basically I just want stuff that's survival horror. I don't want to play a game with a title that says Resident Evil and it sounds that sounds scary to me. That sounds like a frightening title, because it's about survival horror. I mean, you turn on the game, you go in, and it's like, you see all these guys with machine guns shooting at you constantly, and you have these like repetitive like things where you get shot and you get knocked down, and it's just really annoying, and it's not what this series is. Like, it's just like, I will say, just given when this is not me bashing like Resident Evil 6 and all that, I actually like Resident Evil 6. I actually like the gameplay somewhat, but I just don't like the really annoying parts about it and stuff that's just like, yeah, this is a real like letdown. Like, I guess the most common thing to say is that Resident Evil 6, it's a good game to play, as something that if you took the title away from it, it'd be a lot better and you wouldn't really feel a bit salty about it. But that's just the way it is. It has the title and it has the same characters that we've known and played as for over 10 years. There's loads of things to say, and one of my most biggest gripes, for me in any way, might be the co-op. Is probably the co-op with it all. Like I've never liked co-op with Resident Evil games ever. Like, from Resident Evil 5, I've just never been a fan of it. if you've ever watched me, stream Resident Evil 5 and all that, I hate, like, I always do a solo. I can't stand, like, doing co-op because it just feels weird for me, you know. I like, one of the things I love about Resident Evil is, you go into like a mansion or whatever and you're on your own. You're in a police station on your own and you have to survive on your own, most likely. That's what survival horror is. Now, when it comes to like Resident Evil 6 and all that, one of the biggest comments that I see is, people always say something like, oh, Resident Evil 6 is really fun to play, when you have a partner and all that, and like that just makes me like think like that upsets me, because like you should not need a partner to make a game fun, like, ever, in any game, and it feels like, with Resident Evil 5 and all that, it's kind of like a requirement for you to play with a partner for it to be fun. And if you don't have the partner, like, you're pretty much, it's probably, your gameplay is probably going to be hindered, which a lot of it is in Resident Evil 5, for instance. But I still do it because I find it fun. It's just how I operate. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys disagree, and that's fine. That's totally fine. Like, I want you guys to tell me in the comments how you feel about it. But I hope my perspective might, give you guys an idea of how I feel about it and what I would like how Capcom should go about this. As I said at the start, I don't think, for some reason, I don't see them just changing the perspective of the series again. Making 3 action-oriented games, made specifically for action, and then going suddenly back to survival horror. It's a bit shady for me. It's a bit weird, and like, no, I guess they'll talk about the story now. What I think personally, what they're gonna do for Resident Evil 7 is, I think they're gonna continue the story of Revelations 2, because it kind of makes sense. So if you look back at Revelations 1, the story of Revelations 1 leads onto Resident Evil 5. When you beat the game of Revelations, you see Chris and Jill going to Spencer's mansion, and that leads onto the DLC, Lost in Nightmares in Resident Evil 5. It's sort of like a mini story that leads onto it, and I actually really like that idea, like, a mini story that leads onto it and so on. So I think Revelations 2's story is going to lead onto Resident Evil 7. Alex Wesker taking over Natalia's body, and so on. Now you might think, like, why wouldn't, well, like, maybe that, like, why wouldn't it continue on to RE6, because RE6 came out before Revelations 2, obviously. I think that's, like, basically what I think what would happen for Resident Evil 7 anyway. I'm not sure what characters would be in it, though. It'd be kind of weird. Most likely we'd probably have to see Barry in it again, which I wouldn't mind. Personally, I would love to see Jill, because, we have yet to have Jill as a protagonist in a new game. That's what I was saying before. Like, I really want to have a, like, one thing I really want is a newer Resident Evil game, a newer survival horror Resident Evil game, with new graphics and all that, and survival horror, and just in the original way Resident Evil is, similar to Resident Evil Remake, but I don't want it exactly the same as Remake. Even though Resident Evil Remake is my favorite game of all time, I don't think there's any game out there that can beat it in terms of survival horror, but I don't want the game to mimic it, because, like, I appreciate Remake for what it is, but I don't want the game to mimic it. Like, I want the Remake to be Remake for what it is, and for, Resident Evil 7 to be its own thing. I think that's it for Resident Evil 7. I probably touched on everything that I could think of. There's probably more I just can't think of. I've literally nothing written down here. I'm just turning on this and talking. That's all I'm doing at the moment. I'm just talking from my head, so I've nothing planned here. So sorry, this is probably all over the place, I know. But yeah, I guess I'll talk about the remake of Resident Evil 2. So regarding the remake of Resident Evil 2, we know nothing. Obviously. So it was around last August, I think it was. Around last August. Yeah, that's exactly when it was. Last August 2015. That's when they announced they put the YouTube video up, and they tell us that they're gonna do it, and it's happening, like, obviously. But they've been very quiet about it. They haven't told us anything, and that's a good thing. That is. But a lot of people I think are being really impatient about it. People are actually expecting to see something about the Resident Evil 2 remake at E3, and I think that's way too soon. So when they made that announcement video, that was them telling us that they were working on the project. You know, that wasn't them telling us, "Oh, we've been working on it and it's coming soon" and all that. No, it's not happening. You know, that was them telling us that they were working on the project of it. You know, the ideas and how they're gonna go about the game, what engine they're gonna use, and you know, is it gonna be just for next gen strictly? Which I hope it is. By the way, I hope it is. You know, I don't want games. I think too many games are being, you know, the graphics of games are being put down a lot because, you know, they're still being made for the PS3 and all that kind of thing. That's, I just want to be for next gen, you know. Yeah, Resident Evil 2 remake, like, it's just, there's a lot to say about it. So yeah, they were talking about the development and all that, like, so like I don't think we will get anything for a good while, but what I would like to see from the remake of Resident Evil 2, I hope they like, I hope they go about it with the way they went with Resident Evil Remake. You know, the remake of Resident Evil 1, they did it so perfectly. I loved what they did from the difference of remake to the original. I hope they go about it like that, you know, make little sudden differences, give us a new character that we haven't seen before. You know, like they added Lisa into the story of Remake, and she's my favourite part of the story of Resident Evil Remake. I love the story with Lisa and all that. What I think they might do is they might incorporate Marvin, Leon's boss. I think they might actually incorporate him and make him more of a, you know, a bigger character in the remake of Resident Evil 2. At the same time, with Claire's story, Kendo, who runs, you know, the gun shop at the start of Resident Evil 2, originally back in the, you know, I think it was for Resident Evil 1.5, the game that was cut or whatever. I think it was for that, but originally one of the stories of Resident Evil 2 was that Kendo was going to be one of the characters that would actually follow Claire around the game, and Marvin was going to be, you know, sort of like a side character with Leon throughout the game, and both those characters were supposed to have like a bigger story with the game. So I think they might do something with that. Probably not the exact same thing, but they might let them live for longer, you know, they might give them like a dramatic death like halfway throughout the game or something like that. Yeah, so another thing I'm actually really curious about is how they're gonna do the scenarios. Are they gonna keep it exactly the same? Leon A, you know, Leon A, Claire B, you know, Claire A, Leon B. I wonder if they'll keep it the exact same and how you do it all, but for some reason I don't think they will. So for you guys that don't know, the canon scenarios of Resident Evil 2 are Claire A and Leon B. For some reason I don't think they would keep those scenarios and just get rid of Leon A and Claire B, you know. But it's kind of weird. Like, would they do 4 scenarios again? Like, they'll probably just change how it's done, or maybe they'll incorporate the scenarios in one game. You know, they'll have you switch characters throughout the game or something like that. I think that'd be kind of weird though. I'm not sure, but I'm just like, you know, boasting out ideas here. So, oh man, my throat is killing me here. It's actually really late here, so I'm actually like about to go to sleep here. So yeah, I'm not sure what else can we talk about. Oh yeah, another thing that I've always thought, like a lot of people ask about like the Resident Evil 3 remake right after RE2 was announced and all that. I was thinking, imagine if they like incorporated the Resident Evil 3 story into Resident Evil 2. You know, it sounds crazy and all, but it could happen. You know, do you have the technology for it nowadays? You know, like imagine like, you know, you beat everything in Resident Evil 2 and then you unlock like a secret scenario that's called like the last escape, and you know, it just ends up being this crazy scenario where you're playing as Jill and you're running to Nemesis and all that. It probably wouldn't even have to be the whole game, but it'd be kind of like, you know, a big shocker if it did happen, but I don't think it would. But I think it's a bit much to say that, but if it would happen, that would be pretty crazy. So yeah, in terms of gameplay for Resident Evil 2 Remake, I think a lot of people seem to have, a lot of people are talking about, are we gonna get fixed camera angles, are we gonna, you know, overhead view, third person, and I think they're gonna give us fixed camera angles. I'm pretty sure. I think I'd be surprised if they probably gave us both, maybe an option to switch, but if they gave us an option, they'd have to change how the games work, or change how the areas work, and change how the zombies work, and which is actually not that bad, because like it's a complete do-over. Like they're starting from scratch with this remake, so it's not like a remaster, you know. So like for instance, you know, if they were to do like third person, you know, we'd be able to see in front of us, because one of the hardest parts, or the scariest parts of Resident Evil 2 was not knowing what's in front of us. So we do know what's in front of us with third person. So they'd have to, like, you know, make the zombies faster, or, you know, think of some ways around to not make it easy if you were to play as third person view. You know, just little things like that. And I'm pretty certain they'll probably give us new enemies as well. I'd say they will. I'd say they'll give us something. Maybe we've probably something we'd never seen before. I don't know. Maybe. I say they will probably add in more lickers, maybe hunters. They'll probably add in, you know, more spoilers and overgrown spoilers and stuff like that throughout the game. You know, there's so many ideas, you know, that they can do. That's the good thing. You know, they have everything. They have all the resources and all. They have the money. Like that's another thing. Like a couple of years ago with Capcom, they weren't really, like, before 2013, 2014, Capcom were kind of going the way Konami is now, you know, not listening to the fans and ignoring everyone. You know, they've been kind of quiet about everything. And then recently, in the last few years now, they've been actually really great. Like, they've been listening to us. They gave us the remake, they gave us the remaster of the remake of Resident Evil 1. They gave us Revelations 2. They gave us the remake of the HD remake of RE0. And, you know, and now we're getting the remake of Resident Evil 2 and possibly RE7, you know. So like that's really good to see. Like, you know, they actually listened to us. Like, they asked specifically on Facebook, you know, what the fans would like to see. You know, would they be on board for an RE2 remake? Like, obviously yes. Like, we've been asking that for years now. Everyone's been asking for years. There's just so much to say. Like, I keep going back and forth. Like, I keep having things go into my head as I'm talking. So, like, I'm changing like topics a little bit. But I hope you guys are still with me. If you're still watching at this point, yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it here, because this video's gone on long enough. I don't want it to be too long. But yeah, if you're at this point in the video, thank you very much for watching. If you're new to my channel, I make videos regarding the Evil Within, Resident Evil and all that. I also live stream almost every day, so come watch me at twitch.tv/jigsaw_killer with a Z, by the way. Also, I think it's on the 14th when E3 starts. I will be broadcasting or co-broadcasting our E3 as we play Resident Evil. So I'll be doing like a big Resident Evil marathon with E3 in the background, so I'll be listening to it as we play. So if you guys want to come and have a discussion and all that, feel free. We'll have a good laugh with it. You know, we'll look at all the new games coming out, and hopefully we'll get some cool announcements and something Resident Evil related, which I'm more than confident we will. Yeah, thank you for listening. I hope this was some sort of insight and it wasn't me just blabbering and blah 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 blah, 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 you know. Yeah. See you soon, everyone. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And also give me your opinions as well, you know. Let me know what you think specifically, you know, about RE7, RE2 Remake and all that. So yeah, thanks again.